Hey everyone, it's Neil Patel, and today I'm going to be breaking down the different content types on Facebook that you could be leveraging to help you get to 200,000 followers. Now, this is a 6-lesson course covered over 2 weeks. If you miss any of the previous lessons, you can find them at neilpatel.com/training and click on Facebook Unlocked. So when it comes to content types, you want your audience to interact and participate with the different types of content that you're leveraging. And at some point, you even want them to purchase products from you. And you should post precise content and material that people want to really engage in, because if they're not active, they're less likely to share your content, like your content, engage by throwing comments. And more importantly, if they're not engaging and they're not active, they're very unlikely to buy from you. Now, I'm about to break down the types of content that'll be very powerful to grow your views and reach on Facebook. So are you ready? Well, first off, Facebook on mobile, this is where they generate the majority of their revenue. And this is where the majority of people are going to see your updates. So if your content isn't mobile friendly and great for mobile devices, you're not going to do that well. Here's an example of how people are doing ads and images on mobile devices. This is roughly what they look like. And if that's how your stuff looks like, you're going to do okay. If they don't, you're not going to do as well. As people scroll, this is like what a feed could look like as people are selling products, services. You want to make sure your stuff stands out. If it doesn't stand out, then you're not going to end up doing well. And that's a really important part, because a lot of people have short attention spans. And if you don't show them stuff that appeals to them right then and there, you're not going to do well. And here's another example. This is an in-ad stream. People are scrolling. They see something, they like it, they watch it. So what kind of content should you post so people, when they're scrolling in their feeds, because that's when they're going to typically see your information, what should you end up posting to get their attention? Well, let me break some of them down. First, how to post. No matter how good or quality your content is, people love how to posts that teach them how to do something specific. When you look at neilpatel.com, I have a ton of how to related videos, and I'll teach you how to get more traffic, more advertisers, or even more traffic from Facebook, like I'm teaching here. And then when people ask questions related to that how to material, I'll go and I'll respond. And another thing that's similar to how to material is video tutorials. Because Facebook loves video and they're trying to go after YouTube, anything that shows people how to do things step by step does extremely well. And here's an example of what I mean by video content. I have different courses, just different videos that are standalone, and they break down how to do things step by step, and that works extremely well. Industry specific stats also does well. Anytime you give data, people like that. They don't want to just go on Facebook and be like, oh yeah, this sounds right, and you're just making something up. Data that's backed, that's relevant, that can give them an edge up on their competition does well. So any stats, new information, or anything that they wouldn't think would be normal, right, when you're breaking down data, that tends to do well. Like, for example, if you said something about, 80% of people drive cars, and that was a stat, I'm making it up, but let's say that was a real stat. People are like, okay, whoop-de-doo. There's nothing unique about that. It has to be something that's more shocking. Like, and I'm making this up, 17% of people in the last 12 months have given up their car and started using Uber. So that's the example of a stat. People are like, what? I would have never guessed that. And that's the kind of stuff that does much better. If there's also anything timely like industry news, you'll do well from that. So if the government's working on something, or there's some issue that happened overseas, or something that is within your industry, for example, Google releasing an algorithm update, that's all examples of industry news. Then if you have any case studies, I've done this a lot. So a good example of this is we've analyzed 5 billion articles from 64 countries. Here's what Facebook loves. Or we analyzed 120,000 Google ads, and here's what we learned about local businesses. All that kind of stuff, that case study, that market data, anything related to a specific segment or sector tends to do well. Live demos, checklists. This is pretty self-explanatory. People love cheat sheets, anything that they can quickly skim and get a full grasp of what they need to learn. Q&As, as long as you're willing to answer everyone's question, you can do a ask, whatever your name is, anything. So in my case, it would be a ask Neil anything, ANA, or if my name was Michelle, like my wife's, it would be ask Michelle anything. And do the questions, make sure you're responding to each question that your audience has and answer it. People also want roundups. There's a lot of interesting stuff around the web. There's over 1 billion blogs, so it's hard to keep track of news within a space. So anything that is time sensitive, that's related to your industry, and people can just go look at your list and see what's happening, that works too. There's also ways that you can make your content stand out just through creatives, whether it's images or a carousel of images or canvases or videos. All this kind of stuff can help your content stand out. So make sure you leverage these different creative types as well. And there's no one size fits all. What worked for your competitor, even if they're in the same industry, may not work for you, because a lot of times audiences are different, or when they started, times were different and things worked out differently. So make sure that you test and you figure out what's working for you, and then adapt and keep leveraging that more and more. I also recommend that you test out doing instructional guides. This is what I first started off with back in the day, like the Advanced Guide to SEO. This kind of stuff built a lot of backlinks, a lot of awareness, and just drove tons of traffic. If you have a podcast, also consider posting your podcast content on Facebook. If you don't have a podcast, you should consider creating one. It's booming right now. There's not that many podcasts, and whoever's there, even if you don't do much marketing at all, you'll get a ton of listens. Inspirational quotes do really, really well. I think one of my best posts on Facebook was an Elon Musk quote. I forgot what the quote was, but I know it had more views than anything else, and this was before Elon was uber rich. Technically, he was already really rich back then too. He was worth probably $1 billion plus, but now he's worth much more than that. Check out Facebook Messenger marketing as well. You can use tools like ManyChat to communicate with people on your fan page. This is a type of content. My favorite part about Messenger bots is the open rates are extremely high on this, and you can get people to buy products and services from you. I also would consider creating a video blog. Video blogs are really cool because it's like them following your story, your life. For example, like the Kardashians, you can create some sort of effect like that, which can do quite well. One of my favorite things to do that I don't do enough of, but I need to do more and more, and it's worked really well, was going live on Facebook. And when you go live, you can even do that with webinars. They have a huge audience, over 2 billion people who are on Facebook on a monthly basis. So if you go live, because they're trying to compete with television networks, they're much more likely to show that content to everyone, which will allow you to do better and better. When you're going live, I recommend having some sort of call to action in there, even if you're telling people to go to a specific place, and you can get leads and sales from that. I did something similar with Bounce Exchange. I was in their office and we went live on multiple platforms, and we talked about their solution and marketing and all this kind of good stuff, and they shared some tips. So that was pretty cool. Some ROI numbers when it comes to streaming webinars. Here are some numbers from a client that did over 400,000 in sales over the course of 10 live streams, and the numbers are quite amazing. A lot of people registered, a lot of people attended live, good amount of purchases. There were some refunds, but still the numbers were amazing, and you can do a lot of cool stuff by just going live and spending a little bit money on ads, and I'll show you how to do this more in depth as well as we get through the course. One strategy that I want you to test out that not too many people use on Facebook is go and find groups related to your industry. So do a search on Facebook, type in a keyword like fitness or whatever it may be, and then from there, participate in their group, join the conversation, get to know the people, and eventually I want you to reach out to the group admin. And when you're building a relationship with them, what you'll want to do is you'll want to see if they're down to go live, because if they go live, all their members will know about you, and then you can even do the same for them with your group members, right? Because I taught you how to create a group in the last lesson. If you missed it, you can find it at neilpatel.com/training and click on Facebook Unlocked. And when you're going through that process, what you'll want to end up doing is you'll want to have an offer for whatever product or service you're selling, just like I showed you in that webinar example. And with all this content, make sure you repurpose it from Instagram to WhatsApp to, any place out there. You can repurpose your content even on Twitch and LinkedIn and YouTube. If you're not repurposing it, you're not getting as much mileage out of your content. That's why I repurpose my content and I put it everywhere. I'm putting my content on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, because it just gets me more traffic. I have this checklist for you to make your life easier. Go to neilpatel.com/training, click on Facebook Unlocked. It's the third lesson in there. You can find the left-hand navigation under week 1. It's the last lesson in there. And I want you to download this template. Next week, I'm going to teach you how to get more organic reach on Facebook. And then I'm going to go over advanced strategies. And of course, we're going to break down paid media strategies because I know we've covered that in the last few lessons, but I haven't gone in depth on that. And last but not least, I'm going to teach you how to grow your brand on Facebook and generate sales from that brand. So with these Facebook content types, you won't run out of ideas for a very long time, and it should make it easier for you to repurpose. If you enjoyed this video, like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, tell the people about it. And if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll do my best to answer it and help you out. If you want my team to just do everything for you, check out my ad agency, Neil Patel Digital.